Hey everyone, this is Killover here, and I'm here to talk to you about Ted Haggard. Ted Haggard was just on television on Celebrity Wife Swap, which, yes, I did actually watch. Um, but I want to talk to you about him because something just seemed off when I was watching it. Okay, to begin with, if you don't know who Ted Haggard is, his name is Ted Arthur Arthur Haggard. He's an American evangelical pastor. Um, Pretty much, he created the New Life Church in Colorado Springs. He was well known for actually being a gay basher. Didn't like gays, thought they were the devil. Uh, but he was found out to be sucking dick and doing, well, or getting his dick sucked and doing meth. But in the TV show, they mentioned that the devil sent this guy. It's funny. My family's pretty religious. My grandfather, blah, blah, blah. My, pastor, uncle's a pastor. My aunt's husband's a pastor. Um, Everyone's in my family's in the church. Actually, they did actually go to Ted Haggard's church at one point just to see how it is, the New Life Church, because it was a beautiful church when it was made. Um, they're not actually evangelical; they're actually Baptists, but doesn't mean anything. Um, but it's funny because Ted Haggard, sucking dick, doing meth, saying, all sorts of horrible, horrible things about the gay community, saying, the devil made them that way, they're demons, blah, 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 blah. I suck dick on Sunday, do a little bit of meth when I, deep throat that really down. It gives you that go ahead to do more. Sorry, that was a very odd tangent. I think I was possessed by the devil. I apologize. Power of Christ compels me. Um, but the thing is like I was watching it, and Ted Haggard. It was interesting how they cut the video because when Ted Haggard knew the camera was on him, he was doing one of these numbers, and I love everything. Showing the teeth, have to show the teeth. Look, this professional happy guy 24/7, even though I'm about 2 seconds away from slitting my wrist because I fucked my entire life up. Kind of look. And the funny thing is, when they actually shot to him when he didn't think the camera was on him, he was a lot better. He was more stoic. He was, even in a happier setting, was a normal smile. Wasn't, it was very happy and enjoyable to see him that way. But what scared me too was his son. His son looked like a guy who could possibly, and now I'm not going to say he's going to do it, but, possibly, in his mid 25s, he's going to be doing a lot of, or a lot of, or a lot of, not, that wasn't dick sucking, that was hitting a bong or smoking crack pipe. Either way you want to look at it. But possibly sucking dick to get to the meth. I went through it earlier. Um, but also he had that tinge to him, like, when he started getting really defensive of his father. When his sister was talking about, you need to spend more time with us. Um, you see, the thing is like that. I felt like there's something that happened, if you get my drift. And you could also kind of feel that, like, that kid could possibly kill everyone. Um, Now, again, I don't know the Haggard family. I really do feel sorry for him. I think the media really fucked with them. Um, the kids are suffering for their father's misdeed. But there was one quote I really liked, and it was, Jesus was born in Jerusalem, died in Jerusalem, resurrected. It wouldn't have worked if he didn't, if he resurrected in Jesus. Yes, if Jesus didn't resurrect in Jesus, there would have been a whole other fucking issue there. That dude looked like Mark. No, I'm Jesus. But if he was resurrected in Egypt, it would not have worked. Um, and that was true. And he kind of brought up that's why he was back in Colorado, was because he started his ministry there. He died there. He has to come back there. It wouldn't work if he went to Vegas. just wouldn't work. The show, I have to say, was not that much special. I think Gary Busey was the least interesting motherfucker on the show. The wife, I think, should have went a little bit more spiritual with the Haggard family. I think maybe she should have hypnotized the son, tried to figure out what all was wrong there, because that son has some issues, and in his life, if he doesn't get a little bit more help, I think he could end up seeing himself doing a lot of drugs or something worse. You know, the one thing I can say is I think we all should have a lapse in judgment. You know, if we were celebrities, I think we should be allowed to have that one "oops, I fucked up, I apologize" moment. Ted Haggard never got that chance. He fucked up. I'm sorry for it. And I think Ted Haggard really deserved it. Yeah, maybe he was preaching some wrong stuff, but now he has changed a lot. He does believe in civil union. Yes, he's a little edgy on marriage, but you're going to find that a lot in churches. They're just going to be edgy about it. But Ted Haggard, I think, you know, yes, he had to sort out the gay prostitute drug dealers. Satan didn't actually bring him to him. But it's a fuck up. And it's easier for a religious man to say the devil did it instead of taking his own responsibility into his own hands. And before he takes that responsibility, he probably should wash him. Just making sure. Outside of that, I would love to see what your response was to the show if you've seen it. If not, what do you think about Ted Haggard? And please, if you're gonna make a joke, make it funny. You're gonna call me fat. You're gonna be angered because I made a Ted Haggard joke here and there. I'm sorry. I thought it was funny. So, meh. Meh, I say, meh. Have a good day.